morning, Miss Bird.
Welcome back to Dark Corner's Physical Media Reviews.
Good to see you, Pelham. Sit down. Cigar?
This week we're looking at a ViaVision Blu-ray release, The Man Who Haunted Himself, the last film of veteran director Basil Dearden, starring Roger Moore 3 years before he took his most famous role.
Come on, Charles, espionage isn't all James Bond and Her Majesty's Secret Service.
On his way back from work, Harold Pelham is in a car crash that is entirely his own fault. Despite a close call on the operating table, Pelham makes a full recovery and returns to work. But something strange is going on.
Silly old sod, I was in Spain last week.
Events of which he has no memory, some meaningless,
I won't forget that game of snooker in a hurry, nor the little party we had afterwards.
others quite serious given that he is a married man.
You're funny. You're never the same man twice.
Is he losing his memory, his mind, living out his private fantasies? Or is something more sinister going on, recalling Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? In a commentary alongside producer Bryan Forbes that is as witty and charming as you would expect, Roger Moore refers to this as his favourite of his own roles because it gave him a chance to act, and he acquits himself very well indeed.
Just before you're going to bed. Just before the lights go out. Afterwards, in the dark, you haven't got anybody to listen to.
The commentary also covers what underwear Roger Moore finds sexy.
If you find this is sexy, this underwear.
Black underwear.
It's not sexy.
And when asked if it's him playing snooker...
Do you actually play snooker, Roger? Or was it a double doing all that?
I do all my own stunts.
Right.
The story, taken from The Strange Case of Harold Pelham by Anthony Armstrong, had been previously adapted for an episode of Alfred Hitchcock Presents, also included on this release. And arguably it does work better in a short format, but what makes it really work at this length is the character and life of Harold Pelham.
Anything to stop us being so bloody dreary and suburban.
If this was all about his perfect life being torn apart, I don't think it would be half as interesting. The fact that he already has marital issues.
Unless, of course, you've invented something to hold a marriage together.
That he's a wage slave in a tedious job.
You're certainly a creature of habit.
Makes it more engaging because it's about a person with pre-existing stuff who might believably fantasize about a forbidden and exciting existence.
We very rarely go out. I'm sorry.
Alongside the archival commentary with Moore and Forbes, accompanied by Jonathan Southcott, is a new one to this release with historians Jonathan Rigby and Kevin Lyons, who are as personable and informative as ever. We also get biographical documentary Roger Moore, A Matter of Class, an interview with Moore's biographer and agent Gareth Owens, and interviews with others involved in the film, including Freddie, father of Toby, Jones, who I have to say was my one caveat with the film, as his eccentric psychiatrist feels at odds with the tone.
First of all, there is the possibility, however unlikely, that there is an actual double dogging your footsteps. If that is the case, I can be of very little help to you.
Other extras include trailer, photo gallery, and a reprint of the film's original press book. Also, the isolated soundtrack, which I don't really get, but if the dialogue isn't working for you, it's there.
I must have forgotten.
It's not an extraordinary film, but it's a very enjoyable one that maintains a thin premise surprisingly successfully and gives us a fresh perspective on a familiar actor. Thanks for watching. Any thoughts on this film or where you place it in Roger Moore's back catalogue? Let us know in the comments below.